At the end of the last episode, I was laminating a structure to attach a new bow eye to. I just need to remove all the bagging material. I'm using a mini router to get a flatter area on the outside to mount the eye to. I need this higher up eye for the winch on the new trailer. Maybe this isn't quite the right drill bit, as it's very grabby and wants to rip up the new gel coat. These are apparently waterproof eyes, but I ran silicone round and through the holes anyway. Here's a flat sandwich panel I made with some pigment in. This is going to form the base of the under-sink cupboard. Here is one of the early panels I made, which is a bit dry in places, but perfect for the purpose I'm going to use it for. It's super light, but very strong. I'm bonding it onto the back of the cupboard as a mounting plate to strengthen it. Multiplus. These things weigh an absolute ton, and I couldn't make it sit in there very well. I had another bit of CaraCruiser with some big head studs bonded in. Problem is the studs, they're always going to be a bit tight on length and a little bit too tight on length. Just coming up a little bit short there. I have to find a little further. The issue is that I mounted these on straight studs, but this sits at an angle which I didn't account for. Socket. That's a 1/4 inch drive. Goes in my drill. These were pre-drilled holes, by the way. I needed some angle pieces, but in the spirit of this build, I wanted them light. So using this piece of aluminium angle as a mould, I chucked on most of the offcuts of carbon I had. Just pulled this out of the bag, and it's only been curing for about 4 or 5 hours maybe, so it's still quite green, but I wanted to try and demold it whilst it was still a bit green, so here goes. Error on my part, laminating all at 0.90. It's quite floppy. It's in this direction, it's quite wonky, but I don't know if that's necessarily going to matter. Maybe. Same again, but the other way up. So I had angle pieces with the A surface on the inside. This time I put a little bit of black pigment in, just to darken down the carbon. I'm not a huge fan of bright flashy carbon, maybe because I've worked around it for the last 10 years or so. Most of the carbon in this boat will be hidden during the interior retrim. I'm much more interested in its structural properties than the aesthetic. see this one is twisty along one direction, but strong as an angle, which is ultimately what I need it for. Here is that base section with the heating pipes attached. This is some clear rubber silicone gasket that will cushion between the base and the stringers. I've made a little cruiser plate with some inserts in so that I can screw in the water pump. All these pieces are going to make the cooker enclosure. They're from a big sandwich panel I made about a year ago. The cooker has feet which are going to sit in holes in the base to stop it from moving around, out on the road or on the water. I routed out the cord to start with, before realising I could just rip it out with pliers. Then some bonding to that and a little tower for the water heater to sit on. This is heat reflective tape to hopefully reduce the heat sink into the enclosure. I bonded these stainless angle pieces on to make it a bit more hand safe and for the aesthetic. In the head area, I'm putting in a new hatch to make the exhaust more accessible. Speaking of which, here is the new exhaust for the diesel heater, with a vapour loop and heat wrap. Same exit as was fitted before. The wheel arch was getting pretty hot before, so I'm using this heat reflective tape here too. It's super thin and lightweight, but also very sticky, so getting the backing off was tricky. But I'm pretty happy with the result. I've really been pressing on because summer's coming, so apologies for skipping some of the details. I fitted the water heater on its little tower there, so that it can be fed from the diesel heater which sits on the top there. This is the housing for the air fryer or oven, whatever it is, mini oven. I'm just trying the little oven in there for the first time since I bolted it down. Yep, that's where those angle pieces went, as well as on the inside of the enclosure. I thought I'd be able to squeeze a ratchet down here, but I can barely get one click out of it, so in the interest of practicality, I've fitted another access hatch. At some point I will mirror it for the other side as well, but it's imperative to get the batteries bolted down for the next episode. Up on the roof, I'd fitted the new steaming light and needed to change some zinc screws for some stainless ones on the antenna. I'm also fitting a slim little scan strut gland for the horns. I've said it before, I really like the scan strut range and would like to get more of their products in the future. These horns are potentially overkill, but I found the small ones ineffective really. Now, this is the off-cut from when I cut the aperture for the fridges. I'm using it to make some fill-in pieces for this bowsprit. There was a factory second I won on eBay a while back, and I think it will make the perfect solid area to mount the entire anchor and windlass assembly to. Here are those patches bonded in, and I also ran some pigmented gel coat into the joins after. Time to bond it on, the same green 63 something which I've used elsewhere on the cruiser. Windlass is a Lumar Pro Series 1000, which is very much overkill. But let's be honest, what isn't on this? Some Sikaflex 291i finishes off the bowsprit. Still working on a few bits and bobs as I go along, but you do not want to miss the next episode as I'm going to extreme trailers. As always, thanks for watching. Do subscribe and hit that like button, leave me a comment, and I'll see you next time.